Hey, it's losing sucks. Again. Travis, we've hit a milestone this time. It's episode 100. And oh my, what a show we have for you today on this late Thursday night. I feel like it's poetic now that episode 100 coincides with championship weekend. We've got a big episode planned. Travis, what is one thing that you've learned over 100 episodes recording that you can bring today?
I will say that losing sucked a lot when we recorded our first episode, and losing sucks just as much after 100 shows. It does not get easier. Losing will always suck. So I think our name is quite special and quite relatable to a lot of people right now this time of year.
Shoot. Yeah, I mean, think about it. There is like a sixth of each league, fifth of each league still alive, which really what this means is 80% of any league is typically just checked out.
Yeah.
We're done. We don't care. Talk to someone else about your podcast. I'm going to listen to murder mysteries. Fantasy football's over till next year. Well, not here. Not on this podcast.
Because we're in championships, Dustin.
Yep. People are. Yep. People
For
are
those
in
of you
championships.
listening to your volume really high, my voice sounds hoarse. It sounds like I've done 100 episodes tonight. I can't shake the gunk right now, but we carry on. We persevere through. It is week 17. Every decision is as big as it's ever been. You probably have your team pretty much set, but we have a couple of key decisions that you might be dealing with. We've got some things that we have learned individually and as a team over the last 2 years, maybe even particularly just this year. And then last but not least, Dustin, big picks, final big picks of the year. And we will wrap it up with big picks at tight end in losing sucks fashion.
As we normally do. It's beautiful. It's beautiful here. Oh man, we've come a long way from not knowing what the hell camera and lights do. Man, it's just crazy. You look back, reflecting on how we got here.
Life's a lot easier now.
It's a lot easier. We've got a little bit of structure here.
When we first started, I would edit the show the morning after every show. And what that looks like is we would record individually on our own computers on GarageBand. He would email me his audio of just him talking.
Yep.
And then I would cut it, put it on my GarageBand, 2 audio tracks, and then individually remove the 1.5 to 2 second internet gap that was a delay in between every changing of who was talking. So it would take me 5 to 6 hours to edit a show. Now it does it all for us, and we have more time to spend with the people, so couldn't be happier.
It's wonderful. We, remember all of last year I had a popping issue with my microphone.
Yes. Oh, my God.
Awful and magic, and it's fixed. Oh, man, and excited to see what we continue to change and improve for next year. That's going to be fun. What about some lessons? Travis? Do you have anything that you can bring into you as a fantasy player that you've learned over doing a podcast?
I just so happen to have written some of these down, Dustin.
No way. I see it here. It's like I know to ask you about it.
Lesson number 1, be quick, but don't hurry. That's advice that I've gotten over the course of my life, but I apply it to fantasy now, especially after this year. This is in regards to receiving trade offers that you like. When you initially see them, understand that you are on the clock, because the person who sent it, if it's a close offer, especially if it leans your way at all, there is a good chance that they pull it before you have a chance to accept it if you wait. So when you're in negotiations and somebody sends you something and you like it, don't get greedy. Take it.
Right.
That doesn't mean hurry as in settle, but be quick, be decisive. If you like the deal, take the deal. You don't have to win every single one, but you're going to miss out on a lot if you hesitate too much.
Absolutely. No, I completely agree. How many deals have we lost? I can remember one that I had pulled off because I'm like, you know what? I really want him to add this 3rd round pick in the trade. And the guy
We called it. We coined it the deciding factor
yeah, it's
in preseason, and really the first half of this football season was.
yeah.
Is this gonna keep me from getting this deal done? Is a 2025 third gonna keep
it's
me
not
from
worth
getting
it.
the player I want? No, take the
Not
player.
worth it. Don't make him reconsider. Don't make him reconsider. Yeah. I mean, always think of ways to make your team better. Pretty much. You know, I hear you. I hear
What about you?
on that?
Teach me something you learned.
Honestly, for me, the biggest one is don't be afraid to be wrong. You know, I usually waffle and don't want to put out too hot of a take, but at the end of the day, we're all just prognosticating and guessing. So, yeah,
Everybody's wrong. Everyone is wrong.
Everybody's wrong at some point. You know, I mean, hell, we've talked about it. We tried to retire the big picks before, and just because we were wrong so much. But no, being in on players, you know, just as much as I, you know, want to tout that, oh, you know, Trevor Lawrence is finally turning into this, or Travis Etienne is turning into this, or Zach Wilson does suck after all. You know, I'm actually right a lot of the time.
Except for when you're right on somebody and then you trade them away.
Okay.
Dustin has been telling me for 2 years now.
Yep.
Travis Etienne is that dude. He is
that
top 5 running back over the next 3 or 4 years. Go get him. Go get him.
For sure.
So what do? I draft him everywhere I can. I trade for him. And today, Dustin trades him away as he's entering the prime of his career.
Well, it's not like I just traded him away for
Let's
nothing.
hear it. Let's hear it. Let's hear the healthy superstar you got back.
Context. Oh, come on. Okay. Context being I'm in a woeful situation where my team is devoid of any depth. I just have young talent, and I need to build more. So I have George Kittle on my roster, and this just so happens to be a league where you can trade during the playoffs. So I traded Kittle and ETN to a guy in the championship, our friend Eric, and
who is so happy.
Very happy. He gave me Javonte Williams, he gave me a 23 first-round pick, and he gave me Josh Palmer. So I'm okay with it. I like the trade. I wasn't going to be able to – no one in that league valued Kittle. I was going to continue to have him on my bench or on my team, and he was going to age out, and I wasn't going to get the value. So
I almost feel like part of you was like, Kittle deserves a chance at a ring. I'm holding him hostage.
It hurt to get rid of ETN. I love ETN. I have him everywhere. Now everywhere except for that league. But Javonte, I still love Javonte. I think he's still going to come back and be electric.
With Russell?
He was looking great and then got hurt. So I'm not worried about him. No, I think he's going to be great.
All right. I'll let you off the hook easy there.
Thank you.
Another thing I've learned is that people overreact about how old a player is more often than not.
A lot of ancient dudes.
Yes, you have the Julio Jones type players where people just hang on to the name.
Yep.
But for the most part, I think 2022 was a year of overreacting to age. 10 out of 12 of RB1s, of the top 12 running backs, 10 of them are 25 years or older. Does this change the narrative of, a 22, 23, 24-year-old running back is so much more valuable than a 26, 27-year-old Austin Eckler, Joe Mixon, Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook? I mean, these guys are going to do it again next year.
I don't know.
So do we go through this same thing on offseason of, but McCaffrey's a year older. Yeah, but Dalvin's a year older. Who cares? It's their team.
I mean, in redraft, it matters less. But I will say in Dynasty, well, I'm telling you, because you haven't been playing very long, so you haven't really been in this situation where you're left holding the bag on a guy. Right. So, I got rid of Eckler in a league for seemingly nothing. It was Devy guys and some picks. And
who have you gotten left holding the bag on? Who burned you to where you said, I'm never doing this again?
Todd Gurley. Granted, that was different, a little bit of a different situation. But
how is it different?
So, Eckler right now, he's 27 years old. He is the RB1, or was the RB1. He was the RB1 when I traded him. The chances of him repeating of that, this is the highest his value is going to be. So,
But isn't that what people said last year?
I don't think people said that last year.
There's no way Eckler goes number 1 overall again, or number 2 RB overall again.
I think the likelihood that it happens again, even if it does, let's say he does it again next year. You think I think this turns into a dynasty conversation now, but I think of it in terms of, can he keep this up, or can I get value right now? Like, do I need that production right now? If I'm winning right now, I'm not moving Eckler, obviously.
Right now, meaning the next 2 years?
Yeah, this year or next year, sure. But if I just look, you have to look at your team. If I like in that league where I just got rid of Kittle, I was not winning this year. I'm not going to win next year. Probably, maybe, who knows, in 3 years. So you kind of have to make a decision. I'm not going to get value for this guy as much as he is next year, so move him. But the age thing, like 25 years old, no. But 27, there's data out there now that shows you that 27 years old is where guys hit that cliff. Melvin Gordon was productive, and where is he now? He's gone. He's dust.
How old is Melvin Gordon?
He's 20. Is he 29?
Or 30?
But still, he was productive last year.
Yeah, but we're talking about he's 29. We're talking about when you talk about Eckler and Christian McCaffrey, these are guys that can catch the ball. Their identity is so flexible. Right. Whereas Melvin Gordon's never going to be a PPR back. He was never going to be.
Oh, well, he had some relevant years early, but
I mean like somebody that can come in on second and long, third down, and be a top 20 back for the next 3 years, easy.
Yeah, I mean, stay water with it. I mean, but like guys like, I'm selling Derrick Henry right now. He may still be great, next year, and could still be really good the year after that. But the point is,
you're not willing to take the risk.
Exactly. Same thing with Travis Kelce. We're going to bring up Kelce on this show a few times. I'm getting rid of Kelce if I'm not a top 2 team, because I don't care if he produces as the tight end 1 this year, next year, and then as a top 5 tight end the year after that. There's going to come a time where I have him on my roster and I can't get something's going to happen and I cannot get any value for him. I don't want to be having him on my roster when that happens.
Okay, fair enough. More to come on Kelce, and
for sure
the difference in Kelce versus everyone is just unbelievable.
Yeah, he's a mutant.
That actually is my third point of what I've learned is once again pay for Kelce. His points in 2022 would be the wide receiver 3.
Yeah.
This is not to mention any kind of tight end premium league, which is very popular now in Dynasty.
Right.
Quick fact. The top 5 tight ends, let's look at percentage of games that they gave you single-digit performances, meaning you looked at their total on the week and you were very disappointed.
It's an interesting stat.
Travis Kelce gave you single digits 20% of the time, meaning 80% of games he was over 10 points, most likely in that 15 to 25 range.
Yep.
The next, so 2, 3, 4, 5, TJ Hawkinson, single digits in 73% of weeks. Kittle,
God.
54% of games.
Much. Jeez. All right.
Andrews, 71% of weeks. What the hell with single digits. Evan Ingram, he's been going off. 67% of weeks. He's giving you single digits. He's your tight end 5 right now.
Yeah, but tight end's so weird.
That's what I'm saying. It's weird unless your name is Travis Kelce and you're the wide receiver 3 at the tight end spot.
Right. It's harder to find longevity like Kelce has. That's a reason why Gronk was at the top of the mountain for as long as he was. It's a reason why Kelce's been there. You don't get these guys all the time. So when you get them, you keep them. So I get it.
So let's go ahead and talk Kelce then. If you wanted to talk about
Dynasty
Kelce, next year do you have him as tight end 1?
Yes.
The year
Yes, I do.
after?
That's tough. I don't see like right now. I don't have a reason why not, other than age. But
So
at
when
the
you say
same-
if something happens, you're
Yeah.
not saying somebody else emerges and outplays him. You're saying he has to
Yeah.
get a bad injury.
I would say, or he just declines. Like we've seen it before, guys. It'll get later in the season, and we'll start seeing, wow, okay, Kelsey just isn't able to separate her. He just isn't able to do the things he used to do, and he's just more, situational. So, yeah, next year for sure. The year after that, who knows? Hawkinson could go off that year. Pitts could go off that year. Who knows? But
My
right
advice
now-
on Kelsey would not be to sell now.
no.
If you
sell-
want to sell even before next season, wait
Yeah.
to see what your team looks like going into the year. Where are your holes? Where do you feel like you have
Yeah.
to get guys? Or even wait 3 or 4 weeks because we think we know a lot to start the year. We don't.
That's something, yeah. We have to remember that every single year. That's going to be. I need to make T-shirts or something like that. We think we know nothing.
We know nothing until week 4 or 5.
Well, that and how much luck goes into it.
Yeah.
Like how many people are like, man, my team is stacked, and then all of a sudden the Titans have like a pseudo bye week and rest their start. Like weird stuff happens. You cannot predict. And the any given Sunday rule, like that's where I go. That's where I'm at right there. So I agree with you. If you're competing, hold Kelsey. Like I said, if you've got no hope next year, get rid of Kelsey. Like make profit on him while you can. It's not worth him to hold it. Like that's
Cash
That's
in
my
for
opinion.
young players that you know are stars.
go get like Hawkinson in a second. Why not?
I'm not here for picks. But the one thing about picks that you don't know is where they're going to play.
Sure.
Right? Like right now, you have no idea who it's going to be or where they're going to play.
Right.
If you can move Kelsey for Jalen Waddle and some,
Yeah, absolutely.
you know where he is. You know the situation's good, and you know that he's a freak talent.
So you agree that Jalen Waddle is talented and has a great quarterback? Glad to.
The situation, the system, it doesn't matter who the quarterback is.
the
The
system.
offense and being locked in with Tyreek Hill on the opposite side is really
weird way.
nice.
Weird way to pronounce Tua.
So,
all right. I get it.
Yeah, I'm not taking early picks, unless we're talking top 3. I'm not taking it first for a proven superstar.
Sure.
Get
I
young
hear you.
superstars, just a little bit less caliber.
My latest philosophy is if I have a star like that, I need a proven player and a pick. Like that's what I need. I need someone who can realistically not give me shitty numbers at that position, and then I need a pick, especially if it's an upgrade. That's a tier down situation.
If you can get a player and an early to mid second, as opposed to just a first, if it's a late first, take the player in the second. The difference in the
Mm-hmm. yeah.
112, 110, and the
Yeah.
2-4 is a toss up. That's the same
Can
caliber
be
player.
for sure. Yeah, if you can get an early second, just as a throw in,
You should value that as a late first.
you should. I mean, realistically,
And
especially
if you
in this
take
class.
it, then you can also get a player with it.
Yeah, I like that. We've got some more shocking stats that we want to talk about, Travis. I know you've got some running back hate narratives that have been going on this season. We've already talked about the ages, but what about how they're scoring? How are the guys that we were drafting at the beginning of the season? How are they finishing?
So the 0 RB or wide receivers stay healthy and are more consistent and more predictable. The narratives are endless to
Yep, they are
diminish
persistent.
running back values.
For sure. There's a hit.
I don't think it's deserved. 8 out of
No.
the top 12 running backs drafted at ADP are inside the top 12 through 16 weeks. 8 of them.
shocker.
So they're consistent. 7 of the top 12 wide receivers are inside the top 12. This is not, for me, I'm not trying
Sure.
to say
Right.
running backs are better. Running backs are more consistent. I'm just saying the hate is not deserved. How many of them,
Yeah.
how many of these players in the top 12 at each position hit the 200-point mark? Running backs, 9 of them have done it. Wide receivers, 7 of them have done it. So maybe it was just a really good year for running backs.
Is there something significant about the 200-point mark, or is that just something that you had picked as kind of a bar?
Yeah, 200 points to me feels like a lot.
Okay. All right. Isn't that like a half point PPR or PPR league?
Yeah, half point PPR.
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson had 3 games lower than Austin Eckler's lowest game of the year. Again, this is not to say take Eckler over Jefferson. I'm just saying this is your best running back and your best receiver
Right.
so far in fantasy.
Yeah.
They
no,
have
I
matched
mean,
up equally.
For sure. Which is wild. I mean,
It feels like Justin Jefferson has broken fantasy football.
at times, yeah, especially in PPR leagues.
And Austin Eckler's right there with him.
We talked about it last week. You know, these guys, insane volume. You know, Eckler's kind of fallen off a little bit, but I mean, you're talking touchdowns. Justin Jefferson, 16 targets last week. I mean, that's a guy, you know, he's head and shoulders better than any other wide receiver this year. And I don't like we've kind of, you know, guessed like, are we going to see this kind of Antonio Brown run for Justin Jefferson? And I don't see a reason why we would say
I think
no
better.
right now. Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. You know.
All right, shocking stat for you, Dustin. Jerick
do it.
McKinnon, league-winning
Yes.
McKinnon, has
Hall of
more
Famer.
receiving touchdowns in the last 4 weeks than these guys have on the entire season.
Oh boy.
Yes, some of them were banged up. Mike Williams,
Okay.
Garrett
Yep.
Wilson,
Yep.
Terry McLaurin, Mike
Yep.
Evans, Chris
Goodness.
Godwin, and Dallas
Goodness.
Goddard. Those are big body receivers that are known for getting in the end zone.
Yeah, I mean, look, you look at these teams and
4 weeks, Jerick McKinnon has more than their
Sure.
seasons.
I mean, you got rookies in there, and you got Garrett Wilson, Williams banged up, but I hear what you're saying. Big names fall off, and situation and time of season matters. And we're into that season, especially strength of schedule for the Texans. Jerick McKinnon is it's not a hot take at this point to say that he's a league winner. Everybody knows it. You know, you're plugging him in as probably your running back 3.
For the Chiefs.
on a lot of rosters. And what has he done? He's just scoring touchdowns, and he's using he's got the high value touches. So that's awesome. But yeah, these names missing games. We, like I said, beginning of the season, we feel like we know everything. Where are the high drafted names? You just said half of them in some areas are not where we thought they would be.
Taysom Hill
Yep, the tight end 8 on the season.
has caught 7 passes
Good for
in
him.
the entire season.
Wow.
Yet he has more fantasy points than Kyle Pitts, Darren Waller, Dalton Schultz, Dawson Knox, and Pat Freiermuth, all drafted inside the top 12. Pitts
Yeah.
obviously going out with injury. He potentially could have had more than Taysom Hill by now. He did not at the time he got hurt.
Right.
Darren Waller, tight end 5, obviously he got hurt.
Yep.
Schultz has been banged up. It's just
Yeah.
such a crazy position to try to find consistency. And Taysom Hill has not been consistent, but
No, he has boom games.
all of these guys are in this position because of their boom games. Nobody's consistent, as we talked about earlier.
Yeah, I mean, of those guys you talked about, Darren Waller beat up, Schultz. I mean, he just blew up tonight. Like he had a massive game tonight against the Titans. Freiermuth's coming on. I like him. I think he's going to be a top 5 mainstay for a while. But yeah, Taysom Hill, man, he's kind of an anomaly where he gets the rushing. He's a weird, Swiss Army knife. I wonder how much more we're going to see from guys like that in the future. But I that's interesting for him. That's tight
What's
end
his
8.
value in Dynasty?
Nothing. You can't get anything for him. He's 32 years old.
If somebody offered you Taysom Hill for a 2023 fourth,
sure, yeah,
you would take it?
yeah, I would take it for sure.
He's under contract.
Yeah,
They like him, and he does a lot for them.
and sure, why not? Who knows?
We have no idea what it's going to look like there next year.
No,
You might as
That's
well
what
take
you
a flyer.
You hope a 4th round pick can beat Taysom Hill for sure. Goodness, let's talk about some quarterbacks.
Let's do it. Quarterback consistency. This was a weird way to go about it, but I was bored and looking at stats, so I wanted to see what percentage of games did quarterbacks hit 20 points, which quarterback in fantasy, you want 20 points out of your quarterback. That feels like a fine day. Anything more than 20 is great. Anything less than 20, you feel like they left some out there. That's at least my personal take. I want them to hit 20.
Interesting. Interesting thought.
Patrick Mahomes hit 20 points in 73% of games. Josh Allen, 80%. Hurts, 80%. Burrow, 60%. And then it gets real dicey.
Sure.
Your QB 5, 6, 7, and 8 are all 50% or lower in consistency. Justin Fields, 50% of his games, not the games that he missed included, just the games that he played.
Yep.
Half the time he's going under 20 points. Trevor Lawrence, more than half the time, 40% of games did he give you 20 points. And he's your QB 7. It's unbelievable. It feels like Trevor Lawrence has had an unbelievable year.
Well, sure. Yeah, he has come on strong.
Is that because of the bar we set for him and him exceeding it, or is it unfair to compare him to the Joe Burrows already?
I mean, so you have to look. So I'm looking at Justin Fields right now. I'm looking at his numbers, and yeah. So you're talking about where he's hit 20 points, but I'm looking at his finishes. I mean, yeah, through week 5, he was outside the top 12 every single week. But then from week 6 through week 16, he was within the top 10. And I think you spin an interesting point here, because I think this is something that I really want to take home and have people really take to heart, is that the times that guys hit the points are less relevant than when, because the thing I always go back to is like the Tyler Lockett situation, where it's like for the first half of the season it was great, but then we also look at the second half of his season, a couple of years ago, and it was terrible. This season, right now it feels like, man, like Geno Smith at the beginning of the year was absolutely amazing. He's kind of cooled off. Justin Fields, horrid, and now he, depending on how your team is constructed, could win you a league. Trevor Lawrence probably, could win you a league. Jalen Hurts probably lost you your league, so it's kind of going back and forth. But this just tells me is that maybe the rushing upside of guys, something to be lauded a little bit more. Allen, Hurts, Mahomes, Burrow's a little bit special in this, and where he runs a little bit, but he doesn't run as much as the other guys. But
not a lot, but he's approaching 300 yards.
Right, but the two guys I want to focus on your list here is that Geno Smith 40% and Kirk Cousins 40% of the time they hit 20 points. Those guys don't run. They're relying on air yards and touchdowns. Again, I think that's where fantasy's obviously been going. Like I feel like I'm just kind of opening up history books and what everybody's already known, but rushing quarterback is where it's at. Find yourself a rushing quarterback not named Trey Lance.
When you get one, keep one.
Absolutely.
If you can.
Yep.
All right, Austin Eckler, we just touched on him. I'll touch on him one more time to reiterate the point of he will be able to stick around in that elite level for longer than most at his age, because he has more catches than CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Devontae Adams, A.J. Brown, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins.
Yeah.
That is why I don't care if he's 27. He can catch passes out of the backfield until he's 30. He's never had very serious injuries. If they need,
not true.
like Javonte Williams' leg.
He had a pretty serious hip injury last year.
I'm talking very serious, like Todd Gurley, like you talked about earlier.
Yeah,
he
right.
blew out both knees.
I know. I hear what you're saying.
That's different. And Austin Eckler doesn't have to carry the ball 20 times
a game. He catches passes. Like I'm not going to we could talk on Austin Eckler forever, but like Austin Eckler, I don't he's too old to be good at football, Travis. That's what I'm trying to say. 100%.
Don't sell Eckler at a discount because of his age.
No, not at a discount.
All right, who has more between Tom Brady and Josh Allen?
This one makes me sad.
Tom Brady has thrown over 100 more passes than Josh Allen.
Has. Yep.
He's got more completions, naturally. A better completion percentage. Josh Allen has thrown more interceptions, 9 to 13. Tom Brady has more passing first downs, yet Josh Allen has more than 10 points per game better than Tom Brady.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's still rushing. We know that.
Is it?
Well, yeah. I mean, Josh Allen, one, he's able to run, and that is a huge thing. He is able to the health of the team. Tom Brady has not been good in terms of like what we expect from Tom Brady, but the dude's also like 50. You know, I feel like
QB 14. He's been better than Rodgers and Carr and
yeah, and that's amazing to me because the dude
Dak.
had no offensive line. I think we still don't give Tom Brady enough credit. Look at what he's had to do this year with the weapons he's had, with the coaching he's had, and that I feel like what he's done is still admirable. But yeah, there's no comparison between him and Josh Allen. Josh Allen is just a different player right now. Like he can just do different things. He's a physical specimen, and Tom Brady is, you know, a glass of wheatgrass and some straw tied together right now.
Daniel Jones, though, quarterback
Let's
10.
talk about him. I like him. He is a
Quarterback
fun
10.
case.
I did not
Yes,
see
he
this
is.
coming.
God, he is
If you
so
told
fun.
me he would have Darius Slayton and Richie James for the second half of the year,
Right.
no Wandale, no Sterling Shepard, no Galladay,
Yeah.
I would say you're crazy that he's a top 10 fantasy quarterback.
Look at his finishes. I'm looking at his fantasy points rank right now. Dude, every other week, literally almost just about every other week, he alternates going into the top 12.
Yep.
It is.
That'll land you at 10 on the season.
It's not
But
just the rushing, guys.
17 other quarterbacks have
Yeah.
more total touchdowns.
That should excite you.
14 of them have more passing yards.
That should also excite you.
Because, yeah, it should excite you. Why? Expand on that.
Because he's doing this with probably like the worst weapons that he's had. Not like the last few years. This has been consistent. Like we now have like the team is successful now. The defense and the offensive line is able to support him now. He's performing better, which is what you want to see. This is always the litmus test of Daniel Jones. Can we put kinda of an improved cast around him and the team also improved? Now, if they put these weapons in place that they believed were, or these pieces in place to improve the team and the team didn't get better, we know then, okay, our top position that we need is the quarterback. But now they know, okay, Daniel Jones can get us there. They're in playoff contention. They're right there. You know, so they know, okay, we can build around this guy, or at least I hope they think this way.
So he
because
earned his job.
to me, yes, I would give him another year. Sign him to a 2-year extension, whatever. Get that guy, keep that guy on the field, keep that continuity. Because watching the guy, if you watch the guy play, he's a good quarterback. He's accurate. He makes good decisions. He's agile and mobile. To me, he's like a more mobile, stronger armed Matt Ryan. He's a good quarterback. He hasn't had a single weapon since Odell, man. The dude has had no one, and it's time that changes.
Great points. We move on to week 17 as it is championship week. We'll start with running backs. Dustin, Leonard Fournette, another old running back.
Yep.
Who was just RB3 last week. And I look back at a decision that I made in a dynasty league. Final four matchup, I went with Latavius Murray coming off of a 24-touch week 14.
Bold.
Latavius Murray over Leonard Fournette, who I thought was being completely supplanted by Rachaad White.
Yep.
And it cost me a spot in the championship as Fournette scored 25 points. Latavius Murray scored 7, which is a difference of 18. I lost the game by 16 points. Oh. Leonard Fournette versus Carolina. How do you feel this week about Leonard Fournette?
I'm looking at the numbers right now, man, and I don't feel great. The Panthers, they're kind of middle of the pack in terms of defense, but they're not bad against the running backs. It's mostly, the passing yards they've been giving up. Like I said, middle of the pack. I think they're 13th. This with these teams that are kind of middle of the pack, I always feel like they can go, one way or the other. I am worried that this team is actually going to get up for this game and put it on the Bucks. The Bucks they don't seem like they can dictate pace to another team right now. I feel like if the interior defensive line of the Panthers is able to disrupt the offensive line, which now that they've lost even more starters and are probably having to get a still recovering Ryan Jensen back, I feel like it's going to be a struggle. This is not just the Panthers are bad, the Bucks are going to win this, and Lenny's going to have a bunch. The Panthers actually
they're playing for Sam.
They are playing for Sam. That's a good way to put it. But the Panthers, in terms of Leonard Fournette, man, what is the aspect of his game, Travis, that Leonard Fournette is appealing to most people right now?
Catching passes.
Exactly.
He just caught 9.
Yeah, he just caught 9, and the Panthers are in the top 8 of fewest passes caught by the running back position this year.
Also,
they
you're
do
not
well.
getting close to 9 catches for Leonard Fournette.
No.
Unless they're coming from behind in a 2-minute situation. Because that's what happened. I mean, my voice is going big time right now. But Leonard Fournette,
Yeah.
I think he had 6 catches in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, we got a chance? You get the ball back
Yeah.
to Brady with 2 minutes? I'll go dump, 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 dump all the way down the field.
Right. It's I don't have a lot of faith in Fournette this week. Running back 3 last week, I would say he's going to be well outside my top 15 this week, and probably I'd feel good about him being outside the top 20. I don't like this matchup for him.
All right, J.K. Dobbins versus Pittsburgh and T.J. Watt.
Yep.
The Watt brother who's not retiring. 18 points versus Pittsburgh just a few weeks ago for J.K. Dobbins on 15 carries.
Yeah.
Are you in?
For J.K. Dobbins, yeah, I'm in.
Okay.
So they want to give him work. He's been breaking off runs. Granted, he doesn't have the explosion that he used to have. He's still recovering, but they're feeding it to him. They're able to move the ball. And look, it's a divisional matchup. They're versus Pittsburgh. It's that black and blue rivalry here in that division. I expect he's going to get volume. What have we talked about? Volume is key. Volume is key, and he's going to get at least 15 to 18 touches. So I like Dobbins. I like Dobbins in this one, especially with the offense of Pittsburgh not exactly a full functioning unit yet. So I'm okay. I'm okay with him. I think he's going to be I'd say top 15. I think I've got him 15 to 12, right in that range this week.
All right. Just mentioned Latavius Murray.
Oof.
He hurt you bad.
I
You
wish
being
somebody
me.
would have warned people. I wish somebody would have come on the show and said, "Don't play Latavius Murray." I wish somebody would have done it. Shame
He came
on
off
us.
of 24 carries.
But it's the Broncos. Oh.
It cost me a shot at the ring, as I just said. Are you okay playing Latavius Murray versus Kansas City, or are you staying away? He had a very poor showing versus the Chiefs a few weeks ago.
I'm not playing Latavius Murray against the Chiefs. There's no way. No, I'm good.
All right, what about Bam Knight or Latavius Murray? Bam Knight follows up his first 3 weeks as a starter. He was great.
Yeah.
Then he gives you back-to-back outside the top 60 running backs. Do you trust him this week in your championship versus Seattle over a guy like Latavius Murray?
I do. I trust Bam Knight over Latavius. The Seahawks are the second worst team against the running back, so I'm gonna go with Bam Knight to get the volume and the touchdowns this week for sure.
Mike White lifts all ships. That's what you're saying?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah, and if Mike White is your starting quarterback, you start all those weapons. Absolutely.
Okay.
Dude's a Hall of Famer.
Three big
Bonafide.
names, or bigger names, that have killed you.
Yeah.
Mike Evans versus Carolina. He has been horrific.
Nope. Staying out
But
of my
what
lineup.
do you do?
God, you know what? It depends on your options, man. It really does. Like the other guys we're about to talk about, let's use them as kind of a comparison to Mike Evans, because Mike Evans in this matchup now, J.C. Horn I don't think is playing in this game. So like I said, the passing options against the Carolina Panthers have not been too scary. So maybe Mike Evans, this is a get right game. He gets volume. Look at the targets. He's had 9, 9, 8 the last few games. He's had an 83-yard game against the Bengals. He just hasn't scored in 11 games now.
Been a long time.
I feel like this might be a get right game, but do you bank on that in your championship? If you don't have another option, don't go crazy looking like, oh man, I've got to go out there and find, like a guy we're going to talk about, Richie James.
I knew you were going to say that.
Do not go get cute and say, let's start Richie James.
Like Chris Moore versus, or Higgins.
Yeah. Don't get cute.
I should have put that at the top of the sheet. Don't get too cute.
Play your studs. But Mike Evans has been a difficult start, so I would still feel okay starting him this week if you don't have another solid choice. Like DeAndre Hopkins. I'm starting DeAndre Hopkins over Mike Evans.
Okay.
Which isn't really hot, but that's the name that came to my head.
It's hot enough after 4 yards last week.
Yeah, 10 targets, 4 yards. Wow.
All right, before we get to the next receiver, we have a trade offer.
Oh,
for yours truly.
Live on the show.
Dynasty trade offer. The team that is in the championship, because I started Latavius Murray, has offered me Nick Chubb and Jalen Waddle.
Ooh, all right.
For Devontae Adams and Christian McCaffrey.
So who would you be getting?
I get Chubb and Waddle.
And he gets Devontae Adams and Christian McCaffrey.
I don't know that it's enough.
All right, let's break this down. Devontae Adams, we don't know who's throwing him the ball next year.
We don't know if he's in Oakland.
Yeah,
he could go back.
Well, he's definitely not going to be in Oakland because the Raiders are in Las Vegas.
I mean, Vegas. He could go back home.
Yeah, if he goes to Oakland, we have some problems. Look, he's there. Okay, we don't know who's throwing him the ball. Christian McCaffrey, we know what Christian McCaffrey is. He isn't exactly what he has been, but he's still great. He's still great. Nick Chubb, I think that offense is improved next year. No more Kareem Hunt. We don't know if they bring another back, but that's irrelevant. Jalen Waddle is a star. I love that guy. I think he's going to be great for years to come. I don't think I hate accepting the trade.
Here's something that might affect it.
Okay.
My team is incredibly old.
Then I would. Then I think
this is how old.
Okay.
Tom Brady.
Yep.
Aaron Jones.
Yep.
Devontae Adams. Adam Thielen.
Yep.
Kelsey, Kamara, Fournette, and Rodgers.
I think I'm. Oh goodness! I think
can't get a lot older.
This is one of the rare situations where I'm holding and probably looking to, again, sell off individual pieces for multiple pieces. Like get a lesser player and a pick. Get something. Get if you got Christian McCaffrey, go get a lesser running back and a pick. Go get something. Multiply your assets is what I'm saying. If you're
separate McCaffrey and Adams.
Yes, because Adams, you can get a lower tier receiver. You can get a Terry McLaurin and a pick.
The difference in Waddle and Terry McLaurin is huge.
For sure, absolutely.
And I've already been told by this guy.
Yeah,
he has Waddle over McCaffrey straight up.
Okay, well, I don't know how many drugs people do. I don't know.
That makes it tough.
Yeah, that's tough. I don't think. I mean, people get delusions all the time.
Let's see if he's got any young pieces I could get thrown in here.
While you look at that, let's talk about another wide receiver that we've got as well.
Okay.
That's a big name that you're having to decide. We talked about him last week, and you goaded me into saying that he shouldn't start. Is Amari Cooper. He's facing Washington this week. Amari
Are you saying that? What do you mean I goaded you into saying it? He shouldn't have started. He had 10 points.
Yeah, no, I mean, in hindsight. Look,
you should be glad you didn't start him.
He had 10 points against a really, really good New Orleans pass defense. So I'm going full speed ahead with Amari Cooper versus Washington this week.
I am too.
I'm feeling good about it.
I am
really good about it. Let's talk about Gabe Davis. Because Gabe Davis is in a crucial matchup for you. Look, I don't know what situation you have to be in where you're Gabe Davis is a linchpin for you. in your championship week, and you're going into the game against Cincinnati on Monday Night Football. But Gabe Davis has not been good. 10 points last week, but like you're talking anywhere from 5 to 7 targets each week.
These are half PPR points.
Is that enough to get you out of bed to look at him and say, I'm willing to bet on the bomb touchdown?
I can't do it. I
Gabe
want
Davis,
somebody with
yeah.
more volume.
Gabe Davis or a guy like Brandon Cooks against Jacksonville.
Brandon Cooks.
Okay. Gabe Davis or a guy like DJ Chark at home against Chicago.
Man, I don't know. Maybe
They're
Gabe Davis
kinda-
over Brandon Cooks too. I might change my mind here.
Wow, Gabe Davis over Brandon
I feel
Cooks.
You have to go with the
Yeah.
quarterback, the shootout. It's Monday night of championship
Sure.
week. Gabe Davis is built for something at some point, right?
You want to believe that. I think the allure is he's tied to Josh Allen, but at the same time, like, it takes a bomb for him to. He's Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Like, you need volume. Look, Brandon Cooks walks into 9 targets last week. He's facing Jacksonville. Even though the Texans are terrible, they've been looking. I think they can maybe come in and upset the Jaguars. So
You're going Cooks.
I'm going Cooks. I'm going
I don't
Cooks.
hate it. I don't hate it.
DJ Chark, I'm not going to bet on it, not over Amari, but over Gabe Davis. Sure, I would take Chark. The offense for the Lions isn't terrible, and they've been targeting Chark. So
What about Mike Evans or DJ Chark?
Mike Evans. Yeah.
All right. This is why I ask, because DJ Chark
Yep.
has had 15, 21, and then a bad week, 3, and then returns to 15 points.
Big games.
3 out of 4, he's been 15 or higher.
Yeah. I mean, look at the teams that he has though. He faced Jacksonville. He faced Minnesota, which is the worst team in the league. Carolina against the pass is also terrible. He had a weird off game, or not a weird off game. He had an off game against the Jets, who are a great pass defense. So yeah, against the Bears, who are just dilapidated. And granted, they're playing better, and I'm excited about the Bears, all this other good stuff. But as a fantasy analyst, I'm telling you, DJ Chark is a boon.
He's a what?
He's a boon. I'm taking him over Gabe Davis.
Are you taking him over Mike Evans?
No, Mike Evans is over any of these guys. except
Name
for
value
Mark.
alone.
The matchup. If you're going to make the case that DJ Chark, put up a huge game against Carolina, why can't Mike Evans do that?
Well, he could, but
Yeah.
okay, we'll get to DJ Chark again because I talk about the Lions later on in
Yeah.
the show.
But we brought up Richie James, so do we want to finish the Richie James talk? To give more context to this, though, Travis, you brought up Richie James versus the Colts. The Colts, we know about their losses. We know about them crumbling and all this other good stuff. They crumbled to Justin Jefferson and a loaded Minnesota team. It was mostly bad offensive management for the Colts that lost in that game. Richie James, the Colts are surprisingly good against wide receivers. They have regularly kept teams below 200 passing yards this season. So I'm not thrilled to start Richie James. I'm not a huge fan.
I'm fine with that. I would prefer DJ Chark to somebody like Richie James too.
Sure.
Richie James, last 4 weeks, wide receiver 65, then 13, then back to 51, then 16. So if you just follow the pattern alone,
Yep.
this is a bad week for Richie James.
It's not good.
All right, last two are quarterbacks. Geno Smith versus the Jets, who are very stingy. Geno with 15 and 13 the last 2 weeks. Not good.
Yeah. Not great.
They told him he was in the Pro Bowl, and he said, all right, I'm done.
Yeah, he's like, I'm a what? Yeah,
Yep.
no, I'm good.
I'm saving
y'all.
myself for that
Yeah,
skills
looking at
competition.
Looking at his numbers, his pass attempts are right around where they've been. Touchdowns is kind of where we're lacking here. So
What changed for Geno Smith?
I think the quality of his opponents.
Nope.
Was it Lockett? Losing Lockett, you think?
Tyler
see
Lockett
that.
goes out. Geno Smith
Yeah.
goes for 15 and 13 in those 2 games.
That's interesting.
He's
yeah.
quite important. Deshaun Watson versus
Yeah.
Washington.
Yeah.
Watson,
I like it.
fantasy points in his first 4 weeks.
Yeah.
His only 4 weeks. 6, 17, 12, and 12. It's been terrible.
Well, and we look, if you expected him to come back and be himself, you're fooling yourself. We're not going to get to see what Watson's going to be this year. Just get that out of your mind.
So you're staying away.
Unless I have like a terrible option, I'm staying away. I mean, it's a good matchup.
Gardner Minshew?
Who do they have? Who do the Eagles have? Yeah, I would say Gardner
Saints,
Minshew.
I believe.
Ooh, all right. They're actually pretty good. Yeah, I would still go with Gardner Minshew.
I would too.
Yeah, I'd go with Gardner Minshew. Just look, Watson. I trust Amari Cooper to have enough volume to be good in this game. But other than that, like I'm not going to sit here and say that Watson's going to throw for 300 and give you a valuable fantasy game. He can still throw for 200 yards and a touchdown, and wide receivers are still going to be valuable. And Deshaun Watson still doesn't give you enough to be a top half of the league quarterback in fantasy. So, Watson,
I happen to agree.
Yeah, I'm out on him this week.
What does that bring us to, Dustin?
Oh, it brings us to the last edition of Big Picks this year.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
It's that time, man. It's the last edition of Big Picks this year. Holy cow, we made it. Let's start off with the quarterback position as we always do, Trav. Who is the big pick for you in week 17?
As I leave everything out on the field this season, meaning the sand that feels like it's in my throat is grinding away at me. I'm sure it sounds like a little bit like Patrick Mahomes right now.
Kermit?
Jared Goff is my big pick of the week at quarterback.
Beautiful.
Averaging over 21 points per game over the last 4 weeks. Your QB 8 on the season, and he finishes your fantasy season at home versus the Bears, who just so happened to give up the most fantasy points to quarterbacks over the last 6 weeks.
Beautiful.
Goff is hot. The Bears' pass defense is ice cold.
Yep.
This is a beautiful matchup. Get him in.
I love it. I love it. My big pick of the week comes in the same division. It's Aaron Rodgers, and he gets the Minnesota Vikings this week. Now, Rodgers has not been his normal great self as he has been in his career. He has not had he has maybe one top 10. No, he hasn't had a top 10 week yet this year. The reason I bring that up is that in week 1, he was actually the quarterback 32, Travis. So he was facing Minnesota then. I think he wants revenge. Minnesota has been putrid this year against the pass, and I think this is the week that Aaron Rodgers gets it together, puts up his first top 10. I'm going to say he puts up possibly a top 5 performance this week in a matchup where the Green Bay Packers inch another game closer to a improbable playoff appearance, which is freaking ridiculous.
I will tell you, if they get in, almost nobody wants to see Aaron Rodgers.
No, I can't. No one ever wants. No, you don't want to see Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs. Absolutely.
A.J.
not.
Dillon, Aaron Jones, all of these dudes are like,
gets
okay, let's go.
Great.
Tyler Algier.
Ooh.
First time I've picked him for anything this year. Mini hot streak going on right now for Tyler. Let's make it 3 in a row.
All
At
right.
home versus Arizona, who just so happens to be giving up the most fantasy points per game to running backs over the last
Hit me
3
with
weeks.
Yeah.
32 points per game allowed to running backs over the last 3.
Yeah.
Algier's mini streak is RB5, RB14, averaging 17.5 points per game over those last 2 weeks. They have fully turned to Algier after the Huntley injury. It is not Cordarrelle Patterson time. Fire up Tyler Algier. Get him in there in your flex.
I like it. My running back big pick is DeAndre Swift. Look, it's the Bears.
Oh, my gosh.
I know.
After last week,
After
I hope
last
you get
week-
him in because you're already out. I know
Yeah.
because I have a lot of DeAndre Swift. and we're out.
Look, don't look. You waited for this matchup. If you had Swift, and for whatever reason he's still sniffing around your starting lineup, I think this is going to be a good week. Look, he's facing the Bears. The Bears cannot stop anyone. Trust me, I know. And look, even though he hasn't been getting a lot of work, I know against the Bears, you don't need a lot of work to have a big game at the running back position. He's getting about 5 to 9 carries. He's getting 5 to 8 targets. That's enough. That's enough. You get a dozen to 15 touches, and that's enough to have a good game against the Bears. I think he's going to score a touchdown here. My bonus running back pick of the week, I'm not going to name him my big pick, but I also like Zach Moss this week since he's getting volume. He's going up against the Giants, who also happen to rank as one of the most favorable matchups for fantasy running backs.
Interesting. I don't know if I can play anybody from the Colts.
Yeah,
Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson, the 2 weeks that he played with Mike White before Mike White got hurt in the game in week 14, he was wide receiver 1 overall and wide receiver 9. I know there is a bit of a cornerback battle in the media brewing between Sauce Gardner and Tariq Woolen.
Oh, boy.
Sauce Gardner said, let's squash that. We're both great cornerbacks. He then went over to Garrett Wilson's locker and said, torch this fool. And he said, I got you. So
I love it.
I think Garrett Wilson makes a statement that we have the best young cornerback in the game, and that Mike White maybe deserves to start for the Jets next year.
Oh, wow. That's a statement. I think I have a bunch of Jets fans that I know that would love for that to be Derek Carr, but we'll see.
I saw a Derek Carr clip when he signed his extension, and I know that was because he signed his extension and he just got paid, but he did say the words, if I'm not a Raider, I'd rather be golfing.
Yeah.
Is he a man of his word? We're going to find out.
It's going to be great. My wide receiver big pick of the week is the wide receiver 1 for the New England Patriots.
Wow.
Look, I know, shocking. Patriots offense, gross. But here's the thing. The Dolphins, I do not expect them with Teddy Two Gloves to be sustaining many drives. I think they're going to struggle as they normally do against the wide receiver, which means one thing is go time for Jakobi Meyers. Look, he had a great game last week. He had 83 yards. He had a touchdown. Great in PPR. I think you're going to have that same exact performance from him, if not better, this week. Fire up Jakobi Meyers, put him in your lineup, win a championship with this dude, put on a show for you this week. I feel great about it.
Dawson Knox, tight end, Buffalo Bills. I'm sticking with the hot hand approach here, Dustin.
Yes.
Josh Allen has been loving Dawson Knox right now, and the touchdown streak is at 3 games. I think it continues for a 4th game. Monday night in fantasy heaven versus Cincinnati.
Love it.
He's been a top 5 tight end in 2 of the last 3. I think he makes it 3 of 4. Dawson Knox for 70 yards and a touchdown.
Wow, speak it to truth, my man. I like that. Man, he hasn't been what he was last year, but man, this would be a nice
coming on
cherry on top of a season for him to be the needed asset that you have. So my final tight end big pick of the week is none other than
of the year.
Yeah, of the year. The final big pick of the year.
Yeah.
Cole Kmet of the Bears.
Right where we started. It's gone full circle.
Right where we started, man. Cole Kmet. And why is that? Because he's the only guy left on that team. I think it's going to be a shootout. It's in Detroit, in a dome. Justin Fields. No one else to throw it to. And this happens to be the last time that they faced each other. Cole Kmet was a tight end 1 overall. So I feel good about it. I think we're going to get at least 70 yards and a tutty. So here we go. I think this is going to be a week where Cole Kmet finally gives you what you wanted at the beginning of the season.
Skyrockets his value going into the dynasty offseason.
Sell him for 4 firsts. It still won't be enough.
All right, I will go clear the sand out of my throat while you thank the people for this season and bring us home one more time.
Man, thank you so much for listening, for watching, for participating in this. This has been an amazing season for us, and I hope it was for you. Please show us your rings, show us your championships, show us your rosters, your scores, your ups, your downs, your highs, your lows. We want to be there with you through this entire week. Make sure you tweet at us at Losing Sucks for advice. We're always happy to involve or be interacting with you guys now and in the off season. We're still going to be recording. Make sure you check us out online at losingsucksfantasy.com. And as always, go win. Losing sucks. Don't do it.